happy haircut day, as we like to say. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Otter Gang. What's going on? Let's jump into the charts. We've got a dump occurring, and what a smooth move it has been. Pun intended all the way. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to you guys. Padawan Rangebender in the chat, thanking Mrs. Otter. Thank you, Mrs. Otter, for doing your yoga on the balcony these past months. In the crane position, pointing north with the router. Hopefully, we do not have to go back to those days. We want to always be heading forward in the right direction here. So thank you so much, Mrs. Otter, for all you do for this community, holding down the internet. We're going to have to find you some more work because we continue to grow. And Jeremy Montelius, hopefully I said that right, says Dumpy McDumperson. Dumpy McDumperson is happening right now. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll take a look at this top here. We can see on the weekly we're starting to get some sort of tweezer top here where we have the double candles side by side here. Can we go further down? That's what we'll answer. And also, where are we going to see support? Where is our resistance? Let's see. Stragahart. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining us. How we doing? With the Hulks in the chat, throw up those otters. Don't forget to like the stream. It helps it get out. And we're growing slowly but surely. So let's take a look. Now, we've been talking, definitely been talking a lot about this beautiful, beautiful bearish divergence past couple of days. And I mentioned in the chat last night that it has brought us down a good 40%, but we can double check because it was up at the top here is where we last seen it. If we go over here, we can see very similar behavior here. If we go up, we can see that a bear divvy had occurred. And look at this move. Holy Macintosh. We can see on the 2-day, I mean, depends where you're pulling it from, but we can see that these have brought us down quite some bit. So this is what's happening on the Bitcoin price right now. So, said correctly, New Hampshire is cold like this market. Well, I'm in Australia, and it is hot, but I'm also, my mama otter is visiting from Toronto, Canada, and they got about 2 feet of snow the other day, so I totally relate. So what could have brought us down? Well, we go over here. I'll throw this in the chat. If you don't use this already, I suggest you use it. Now, this is the economic calendar. It's in the chat. And we can see that clearly Jerome Powell is not being able to land this plane properly, as we've been talking about. We talked about landing with inflation and having a soft landing rather than a hard landing, and it looks not too good for Mr. Jerome as of late. And we have multiple things coming up throughout next week that can possibly bring us further down. Durable goods, right? We also have things such as manufacturing. These things can change the way the market behaves. So we got to be paying attention not only to the news, but to the price action and the TA. And then we put them all together with a long-term outlook, and we can extract profits from this market. So, did I catch this trade? No, but the trade setups, I have been taking a break to spend time with Mama Otter. So, the important thing is to always take a break for the mindset, reset, come back to the charts. I had a rough day trading about 3 days ago because I was distracted and I wasn't fully into it. Therefore, I made a couple of poor mistakes. Minor stop losses hit, but at the end of the day, it's important to take breaks. It's important to refresh, come back to the charts with a fresh mind, and reset. So, Stragenhards, I'm hoping to see some up movement. Well, if you were in our Discord, I had been giving this level all week long, golden pocket, point of control. You can see it right here. We came perfectly into the zone with a quick bounce, as you can see, and we're looking for some upside. Well, if you're looking for some upside, this would have been the trade setup that was given, that we could have been looking for a bounce. So we're going to go into the trade setups, where I'm thinking price will go, how it will react, and what to be looking for with this upcoming weekend, because we know the weekends are less volatile, right? We know the weekends will be pretty much sideways with low volume, and then they make a move on Sunday to get that weekly candle printed to where they want it, right? So the market makers are pretty much in control. We've moved down. We've gotten a lot of people bearish. The sentiment is starting to turn bearish, but I'm not fully bearish until we get below this red box here around 21.5, right? And that will mean a change in market structure. So let's go through. We can see on the daily, we have money flow coming out of the market cipher. We can see a curl over on the RSI. Also, this beautiful bear divs has played out almost completely, but we do have more bearish signals on the 2-day. This looks like it still has some legs, can still go down. We are not hitting that full RSI depth yet. On the 3-day as well, you can see this is a nice juicy bear divs as well. So can this continue to the downside? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for money flow to come out on the longer term time frames and possibly into the red. That's what will be a long-term indicator if we continue to remain bearish, right? But what happens? We don't exactly drop right away. We have to be patient, and we have to be looking for setups. We can't just press the short button and make all the money, or else we'd all not be here, right? So don't forget to join us in the free Discord. We're constantly giving setups. I'm constantly giving my trade setups on a daily basis to try and help you guys become more profitable traders. So as we go into like the 18, the 16, the 14, and the 12, we can see that we've dipped below the zero line. We've crossed over into the red, which is purple on mine, just because it's more zen to be in the purple, right? Rather than into the red. We've flipped down into this. The VWAP is down below the zero line, and we have now starting to come down. I'd still be here. Thank you so much, Stragahart. I appreciate you. This is not easy to trade because we've gotten very bullish. Everybody's gotten a bit FOMO-y where they want to fill up their bags in Bitcoin, but they don't want to pay too much, right? And they're worried if it comes down, will they miss out in that drop where they can fill their bags up more, right? So as a person who dollar cost averages every single week, for me, I'm buying no matter what, DCAing. As long as Bitcoin remains under 30K, I will be DCAing because I have a long-term belief that the price will go beyond that, right? That is my belief. So I continue to DCA. Obviously, we can be more strategic. As we get lower, we can maybe DCA a little bit more. So as we continue here on the downside of Bitcoin, you can see that we've dropped below the zero line, and we're looking for some relief now, right? We're not going to move straight down like they say. Of course, we will have to see some sort of range down and possibly drop into a couple of ranges that I have marked out for us. So let's come into the 6, the 8, the 5 medium-term time frames. We are starting to curl up here. So this is more of a bullish signal where, guess what? We've come very oversold on the market cipher, and we're looking for a possible bounce, right? You can see the stochastic are moving away from each other. VWAP is coming up to the zero line, looking to push through. Same with the money flows, looking to push back up, and we're starting to curl over here. So on the shorter term time frames, from the 5 and down, we're looking a little bit more bullish, in my opinion, where we can have a possible bounce, but nothing too significant, right? A little bit of relief. We need to reset in order to continue downwards if that is the case. Now, don't be confused in the sense that, hey, we could have just been faking out, getting everybody bullish, and the market makers have got us trapped, and then they're going to pump the price on us. So don't be fooled that we are in control here. They want us to feel bearish right now. They want us to think, Bitcoin's going to go down to 15K again, and we're all doomed, right? So they want to mess with our thinking, but we got to be prepared and trade the charts. And we need to use healthy risk management, stop losses, a healthy mindset, not FOMOing in, not shorting it just because we're down here now and we've dropped and we missed the top of this trade, but look for confluences, trade setups, and where we think we'll be going. Jonathan Schaefer's bullish on the haircut. Thank you, Jonathan Schaefer. Much love to you. Thank you so much for joining us. We can see on the 2, the 3, and the 4 that we have pretty much come down dramatically. We've curled over into the red money flow. We're very much oversold right now, and we're looking for a wee bit of a bounce. A wee bit of a bounce. That's from living in Scotland for a year. I say we now instead of a little bit. But you know what? Let's see if we can get a bounce. We're getting the green dots on the lower time frames, right? Can this possibly bring us up? We had a bullish divergence that was given, and this level was given as well on the Discord that we can see here. If we go to the 12, we can see the beautiful bull div here and here, right? So we got lower lows, higher highs on the market cipher, momentum waves. This would have been a great trade. I was actually asleep. It was 6:30 in the morning. Normally I wouldn't be asleep for this, but it's not a work day. I've had the week off, so that's why we've been streaming at this time. You know, for me, this is earlier in the morning. Normally, next week we'll be live at 5 like we always are on this channel. 5 p.m. Sydney time, which is plus 11, which is actually pretty late for the States, but we will be live. We will continue to stream every single day, but right now, we obviously got to cater to Mama Otter because Mama Otter burst the Otter gang, if you think about it. So can you look at the 5-second, the 10-second, and the 45-second? I'm trying to zoom out, but I'm stuck on the 1-second chart. Of course, we can get into the nitty-gritty for you, Jonathan Schaefer. Now, if we go into the 1 minute, we can see that we're moving here quite quickly, and we've gotten the bull div. And nah, come on, man. I mean, if you're scalping the 1 minute, that's one thing, but we always want to talk about having a larger perspective. I mean, how can you read this bull div on the 1 minute? Well, you can see we got a low, we got a high. This is still a very much a bull div. It's just very exaggerated here. So on the nanosecond charts, we can see the trend here is very, very interesting. There's a beautiful cup and handle pattern here that can probably bring us to the downside. Yeah, I mean, you can obviously trade the 1 minute and scalp it, but yes, he's joking, obviously. So don't be jumping into that 1 minute chart being all degen. Try to have a larger perspective, long-term outlook on the markets, right? And always practice good risk management. So we can see that we've come down to this key level that was given, weeks ago. And how did we get this level? Well, we'll talk about that right now. Is that we can pull up the VRVP. We can see that there's a point of control right here, and value area low. But if we zoom out a bit more, we can see that the point of control drops down perfectly to this level, right? You can see we have a huge volume node here. Also, when we get rid of the VRVP, we can pull a Fibonacci from the bottom here all the way to the top here. And we can see that there's also a beautiful golden pocket here. So very quickly, very simply, we can see that there's multiple confluences throughout, and we're going to have a reaction at this level. Now, this reaction has bounced us up a bit, but obviously right now the sentiment is very bearish. Shout out to Brooke in the chat, keeping us degen otters under control, making trades while Jake is driving. What a legend. We love you so much, Brooke. Thank you so much for being here. Say hi to Jake for us. Tell Jake that, I think we should just hand the wheel over to Brooke because she's making some amazing trades, sharing them in the Discord. Much love to Brooke and Jake, the beautiful, beautiful Otter Gang couple. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Now, I bet that the candle gaps on the 1 second charts are insane. Oh my God. So, where are we going to go next? That is definitely panic attack worthy of a 1 second chart. So, if we all want the 1 second chart, we'll go there one day. Maybe we'll do a live once a month or something where we only degen trade the 1 second chart. And where are we going to stop next? So I want to zoom out with you guys and take a look at this 2-day chart. Zoom right out, pull out Game Strong, and look at this. So I have put up these golden pockets. We have a CME gap down below here that I've marked out, which is actually perfectly in line with this bottom here. Now, why would I have this here? Now, you can see that it is... I gotta delete this. You can see... Shout out to Jake. You're always getting a shout out, Jake. We love you. We just won't talk about sphinxes in the chat no more. So, I went there. I'm sorry. I love you guys. You can't hand the wheel to her. I gotta drive so she can chart. We love you guys so much. So what we're looking at here is on the 2-day, we can see that we have this range. Now, when I pull up the VRVP, we can see the heavy volume that we traded for so long, right? This heavy volume here is where basically we were trading since June, and we were hanging out in here. Yeah, we popped up once. We popped up this time. Can we work our way back into this range? Well, if we're bearish, this might be what's up next, right? So we have the CME gap. Now, what is a CME gap? When we go over here, I've highlighted it just to help you guys out. Now, when we zoom in to this CME gap, we can see right here, if we go to, I believe it's the daily. Yes, it is. On the daily here, you can see that there's a gap here. Now, these gaps tend to get filled, right? Now, I also gave you guys another gap. If I go to the 12-hour, that was up here. Sorry. Let's go to the 1 hour. Now, what happened, you can easily see, I gave you guys this setup. We were up here. I gave you guys this setup in the Discord. I was like, watch out. There's a CME gap now that's opened up, right? And they tend to be filled. It's almost like 90% or something. The hit rate is actually pretty ridiculous, right? It's pretty ridiculous. So I gave this setup. We were up here, and boom, we dumped right into it. So that would have been a nice trade. This was the day I was having trouble trading. Wasn't a great day for me, but I did give this setup, and I didn't even listen to my own advice. I missed this trade. But look at this. If you would have taken this trade, I given it up here. That was a beautiful move all the way down into the CME gap. Another 2.5%, right? With a bit of leverage, that would have been awesome, right? So with these CME gaps, going back to the one that we were talking about just now, they tend to get filled, right? So we have a gap down below here that price might want to work its way back to, right? So if we do get a dump of some sort, now don't expect it to go straight to this area, but expect some sort of, we've had a quick move down. Can we get a little bit of relief and then head back down? That's what I'm thinking, right? If we continue to remain bearish, we are going to go for this gap. Now, why is this gap important? Because it's right at the very top of this volume range of this whole range all the way back in June. So we can see it's at the value area high. It's it has multiple confluences. Maybe we get a giant bounce from here, but I do believe that price wants to naturally work its way back. And there will be a huge level of support right down below here saying, hey, you're not getting back into this. The bulls do not want us back at this range. So that's something I'm keeping a close eye on if we are to continue bearish, right? That is my bearish outlook. Now let's zoom in to the beautiful lower time frames and let's get you guys some trade setups that I'm looking for myself for the weekend. Even if we have low volume, there is always trades to be had, right? So let's take a look. We have the support here that was broken, right? This was key level. You can see it across here. So this has been broken. Now, what does price typically do on moves like this? For me, with watching price action for so long, price will work its way at least to the halfway point here, right? At least. It always likes to fill a little bit of this quick move down if it's going to continue downwards again, right? So we zoom out, we pull our volume, and we take a look at where price can go. Well, we see that there's a little bit of a volume node down here and then a big one, obviously, where this red box is. So if I pull this red box and I keep this across and I'm going to delete this purple one, I know that this red box is the entry to the gates of, bear world. Let's call it the hibernation zone. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. We're out here. We're trying to extract these profits. So watch out for these hibernation zones because the bears are out. They're ready to play. Now you can see how big of a volume node is here. So what does that mean? That means, in my opinion, now that we've broken out, we are going to trade in this zone. Now, where is this zone? I'm going to mark it out here. Bing. And I'm going to mark it out here. Boom. Okay? So we have that zone. Now we zoom in, right? Now we zoom in and let's look at how we're going to trade it. So we'll jump on to the 30 or the 24 is more ideal in my opinion. I like the 24 just because we have a 24-hour clock. So we got these two levels, right? So we had this bounce here. This would look like, to me, the middle of the range, right? So we don't want to trade the middle of the range. We're going to mark this out, knowing that this is the value area low for this range. Value area low, local, right? We're going to draw a horizontal here. Value area high, local, right? And then obviously the middle of the range is here. So we have that marked out on our chart now. So now we can trade the range. Yes, we've had a rejection here, golden pocket, all of that good stuff. So let's look for a retracement. For a short, we're going to look for retracement up into this area, value area high, local. So turn off the VRVP. Let's see if Smart Money Concepts has anything for us. Nope, not so much. So I'm going to pull a fib from the top of this range all the way down to the bottom, and look at that. Golden pocket. So let's move this up a little bit higher into the golden pocket. So there's some confluence. There's my first trade setup would definitely be from there at 23,542. That's where I'll be looking for a short position. Where would I put this? I'd put this above these swing highs here, and I'd be looking to target this value area low, local, but I will definitely be taking profit earlier. And just in case, remember that we have these key levels of support that held us up from before. So this will be a key level of resistance, right? So I will move this up to this key level of resistance so that we know when price gets here, let's raise this up a bit. Let's be more accurate, right? So 23,582, I will be looking for a short if price works its way up there, right? For a bounce, well, I would like to see a fake out, in my opinion. I know we won't get the volume that we want. So look, we had a huge volume spike here. We had some volume spikes here that brought us down, right? So we can see that it's cooled off and it's probably going to stay there for the weekend, right? So what trade setups are we going to have? We're going to have something along these lines in here. So where do we pull the fib to get this? Well, we know the volumes here, the golden pockets here, right? So my first look would definitely be from here, but let's see if we can pull something from previous ranges. So we'll zoom out again and we'll pull a fib. Let's say, so I'm going to pull it from the bottom of this range to the top of this range here, where we started this move down, right? This is the point of the control here. So boom, we have a golden pocket here as well. So I'm going to put another little box here, and this will be my trade setup for longs. Now, can this change? Of course, this can change depending on price action, but this is how I would trade setup as a scalp / long-term play, is I'd be looking up here at this 23,582 and then the golden pocket here for longs as well. So I look for a fake out, get everybody and their brothers bearish, worried, and then bang, the price back up, right? So we can be looking around this area here, which is 22.7, 22.8 area, but look for a fake out to the bottom for lower lows, right? If we're going to continue downwards. So those are my trade setups right now. I'd be patient. The sentiment is definitely bearish. Everybody is pretty bearish. So be watching these levels, be keeping a close eye on the price action, and join us in the Discord because we're going to have these trade setups for you guys anyways. I wanted to shout out the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. There is 8 people, 22 views. Smash those likes. I appreciate every single one of you. You know, we're going back to work next week. I'm a carpenter by trade. I just wanted to prove, you know, that I could help people extract profits from these markets while working an exhausting construction job. We can come to the charts. We can learn how to do technical analysis. We can learn basic TA. We can improve upon it. We can practice good risk management. We can get capital preservation. We can have a good mindset, and we can come and we can build ourselves a life of freedom. That's what cryptocurrency is to me. It's something that has inspired me to help other people, to show you guys that no matter where you're from, what cut of the cloth you're from, that you can come in, look at the charts, extract some profits, and pay yourself and be better off for it and create a life of freedom that you've always wanted. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, all your guys' support. I appreciate every single one of you. Now, we'll be sharing this in the Discord, so the link to the Discord's in the description below, so don't forget to join us. Free setups, free everything. We're just here to help. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. So now, with those trade setups, with those ideas, we're watching all these levels. Remember, this is the make or break point down below here at 21,900, 21,500. We have the CME gap. We have multiple confluences. So look for 22,000 to hold us up, right? Look for 22,000 to hold us up, because if we fall below that, the bears are in control. The bears are in control. So we need to be patient here. We need to watch price action. So let's look for a bounce. Let's look for a little bit of relief. But remember, it is the weekend, so we will not see as drastic volatility. And this has been a fast week. It was a 4-day week. There was a holiday in the States. So we got quick moves, and they were liquidating people. You could tell, like, just with the way the market moved this week, it was hard to trade. Even for me, it was like confusing at sometimes because we had this big move down, and I was like, okay, pretty bearish sign. We put it in a lower low from here, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, back up to the point of control. And then like 2 seconds later, we've backed down to the same level, and then a sideways action and a dump, right? So it's been very hard to read, but I've made a couple of good trades, but then I also got stopped out of 2 trades. So like, no matter what, I made profit, but it was only because of my risk management, and it wasn't giant profit because I did lose a couple of trades because of how volatile the markets were. So like, we're not going to make perfect trades all the time, but if we put the odds in our favor and we practice good risk management, we're going to long-term make money, right? That's the key here, is that we have to preserve the capital and work on our TA and our risk management, that when we do win, we win nice, but when we lose, we don't lose as much, right? Thank you so much for being here, everyone. So I wanted to get into a trade setup that was given. We gave the Matic trade setup quite a while ago. And I mean, Matic's come down extremely, right? Extremely back into this regular range here. When we zoom out, we can see that Matic, automatic, supersonic, hypnotic, funky, fresh. I think that's not copyright. I hope not. Anyways, who cares? We can see that Matic has come back into this range, back into this top. So look for this range to hold Matic down and possibly work its way back down into some lower lows. Been looking at Matic. It's curled over. It's pretty much died out. So we do have a key level of support here. So we'll be sharing this as well. If Bitcoin continues to fall, look for that $1 mark to really hold us up, right? And hopefully Matic doesn't fall too hard, because it's one of my biggest holdings. And if it does fall too hard, we just DCA into that thing even more. You know what I mean? I got faith in Matic. Held by Disney, held by Coca-Cola, much support for that. So it's all about getting our levels, watching the levels, watching how price reacts. A lot of things are going to follow Bitcoin right now, right? Matic had a huge, this is not sustainable. Something like this is not sustainable. That's why we were looking at shorting it. And, you know, the setup was given in the Discord. So we got to continue to watch these things, look for it to play out. Right now we're back into this range. Maybe we come up and test these highs again, and we could look for a trade setup here and here, because we have the highs here. These are significant highs, right? These are on daily time frames, right? We have significant highs here, tweezer top, right? And it's taking quite a bit of volume to push through, right? You can see the volume here. Boom, it pushed right through. So we got to be careful with Matic, but also know that there has to be some sort of relief. We can't just go straight down. Even though price went straight up here, we've come down significantly. Look for Matic to try to relieve itself, but also look for the bounce, right? Look for this bounce here, Matic, and let's zoom in a little bit and look at it. Okay, so yeah, significant volume, looking very similar to Bitcoin. It's going almost into the overbought zone. We can see that maybe we get a fibs here. 786 fibs. I wouldn't be trading that. I'd be looking at something more along the lines from here on a larger term time frame. And I'd be targeting here. If we're continuing with Matic, this would be my trade setup. Good risk to reward. And hopefully ride that thing back down into this range, right? Matic is definitely going to be wild. One of my biggest holdings. I mean, there's so many people on board with Matic, and Ethereum obviously is great and all, but I think there's more gains to be had with Matic. So definitely one of my biggest holdings. I'm very bullish on Matic on the long-term time frames. You can see, like, even these past couple weeks, Matic has just ripped, right? It's just ripped. So bullish on Matic long-term, but obviously a great coin to trade, because we got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic, and they all very much do similar things. So it's great to move down the line, and sometimes we can trade smaller coins that have bigger movements and bigger percents. Obviously, you're not going to get the same gains on Bitcoin as you would with Matic. So if you have a very confident trade on Bitcoin and you're feeling really good about it, you go over to Matic, you make the same trade, you can make more gains, right? There's ways that we can extract even more profits with Confluence on other coins, right? So looking at Ethereum, we can see Ethereum has been very stagnant. Remember, with Ethereum, we have the token release in March. So I think right now there's going to be a lot of people who are releasing their staking with Ethereum, right? Which can mean that either people are going to be selling it off or they're going to be putting it back onto staking, right? So we don't know how that's going to affect the price of Ethereum. It can be bullish or very bearish. What if everybody takes it off and sells, right? Because they've made the gains and they've held it for however long, right? If you've been holding Ethereum for years and years and years, maybe you just want to get out and take your profits, right? So there's going to be quite a move in March for Ethereum. We'll see what happens once all those unstaked coins happen. So I'm watching Ethereum closely, but I'm also being patient with Ethereum because I know there's going to be a big reaction come March, which is literally right around the corner. And we'll get you that date and further information, of course. So let's watch Ethereum. We have a big volume gap here with Ethereum. If I turn on the VRVP, we can see that we have a giant gap here between these two squares. You see right here? So if Ethereum does break below this square that I have drawn out, that we can see a swift move right back down to these 1350 area, right? You can see, right? So look for it to trade within this range right now. But if it does come to the bottom of this value area low, we can look for quite a swift move into this box here, which would be a beautiful trade setup, right? But look for these value area lows to hold on Ethereum. We'll be watching that as well. So 1522, let's be watching that as well. So as we can see with the markets, they've gone red. We're going to go over and take a quick look at the S&P 500 to wrap this all up for you guys. And then we'll give you one secret coin at the end that I'm watching because it had a massive pump. So with the S&P 500, we've had this drawn out for quite some time. We're talking about these tops 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We've come up, we've rejected off this trend line, and we've created some sort of resistance here. You can see these resistance that have drawn out, right? So with these resistances, none of them have held, right? None of them have held, and we're like, we are going back down and we are going to hit off of this trend line. Well, guess what? We called it and pretty much to the T, and now we're bouncing, right? So we're bouncing off of this trend line. Now, for me, I believe we'll bounce a couple more times, and then do we test down below? Now, that's when things get scary, in my opinion, because it will completely shake up the markets. And guess what? The Dixie's green, right? So we're watching that S&P, but we're also watching, holy guacamole, we're watching the pump show on the dollar here because Jerome Powell is failing to land this plane softly. We are up in the $5 zone, right? This is very scary territory for the dollar. We're going to move our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful zone all the way up here now, because we can see that has moved, right? You can see the tops here. We're up into the middle of this range here, and we've blasted through this previous range. So be very careful, be very cautious, because the dollar is flying. What does that mean? When the dollar flies, Bitcoin dies, right? When the dollar flies, Bitcoin dies, you know. So it trades opposite to risk on assets. So if people are holding onto their dollars, they're not spending it on risk assets such as Bitcoin. So overall, this is the weekend. We're looking for price to bounce around in the range that was given right here. We are very much being cautious that there's a CME gap here that's looking to be filled, which means watch for a good short setup. I will be in the Discord sharing my ideas and my thoughts throughout this weekend with you guys to try and set us up for some good confluential trades to help us extract those profits. So I just wanted to thank you all. I will share my charts in the Discord. Look for these setups. Stay legendary. I appreciate every single one of you. God bless you. Take care. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, my friends. and stay legendary. Mama Otter, are we going to buy souvenirs? I'm going to get you a boomerang. Yeehaw!